Hey there guys, welcome to Battle Knights Battle Report, and today we are playing Bolt Action. So as usual I'll be using my American army, and I'll be playing against my good friend Bennett. Hey Bennett.
Hello.
He'll be using his Germans. The last time we played each other at Bolt Action was in the Escalation League, where I got horribly murdered by Bennett's army, so I'm going to look for revenge today. The mission we are playing is a little bit of a... We're playing the Scenario 2 Glider Assaults, essentially, from the Battleground Europe book, but we've modified it slightly. The first thing is that the Allies are going to be the attackers, and the Germans are going to be the defenders. And as you might as well guess, there's no gliders in the German army. So what they're doing is they're coming in on this train. Now obviously the terrain is still work in process, so the colourful train is not going to be looking like that forever. Alright, so give you a quick look at the board. This is where the train station will stop. Now how we're going to play this game is, in the bag we have my 9 order dice from my 9 different units, which I can split up into a first wave and second wave, but I'm going to bring everything on in the first wave. And my deployment zone is going to be this side of the board and this side of the board, so I can come up from either flank. Bennett has 1 dice in the bag, which is 1 German dice, which is represented for that train. If it comes out, the train will move down the track into the train station yard, and then the round will immediately end, and then he will add the rest of his unit's dice, which are split up into 3 groups, which we'll go over in a second. And they will then be allowed to come out of the train as the dice comes out on a runner advance order, and they can either come out that side or this side. So that sounds pretty easy. We've taken out obviously the glider landing results, as a train doesn't need to have any problems. If you guys have any more ideas on how we can expand on that, post it underneath. Maybe we'll do it next time. Okay, so 750 points is what we're playing, and this is my army. I've got 2 regular infantry squads with a bar gunner each and a Thompson sergeant. I have a LT with his mate, a sniper and his spotter, a forward observer and his mate, a regular jeep, a regular heavy machine gun team, a ranger squad with a 30 cal and a bar gunner, and then a veteran squad with 3 or 4 Thompsons. And that's my 750 points. Let's have a look at what Bennett's got.
Okay, so starting from that and then where you are, I've got a veteran grenadier squad.
10 man?
10 man, yeah. I've got my commander and a sniper team, both veteran. Another 10 man squad of veterans. Another 2 10-man squad of veteran Fallschirmjägers.
Okay.
A few machine guns and some assault rifles thrown in there.
And like we said, they've been split up into 3 sections, which will be 1 in each of the train stations. And that's the scenario. So we're going to go to first turn, and we'll come back to you at the end of the round. We'll give you a little overview of what happened. Alright, okay, so this is the end of round 1, and as fast as this video took to get from intro to round 1 is how fast that turn took, because the unit you're looking at is the only unit on the board. The way we were playing it was, there's 9 dice to 1 in there, and the first dice came out was my infantry unit, which moved up into the tank trap ruins along the road. Then the next turn was the train pulling into town. So the Americans were laxy-daisy getting up to the mission, and the Germans have got the jump on them. So what happens now is Bennett gets to put all his infantry dice into the bag, and then we play a normal turn from turn 2 onwards. So here we go, turn 2. You ready, Bennett?
I am indeed.
Alright, let's go. Okay guys, this is the end of round 2, and all the dice have obviously been removed from the bag. Give you a quick table eye view scan of the board. What happened? The Germans poured out along the side of there against the wall, but because it's night fighting rules, they can't really see anything because I am quite a distance away down by those hedges over there, which I'll come to in a minute. So the Germans poured out that side. They poured out a couple of this side. That unit right there was the last unit to come out, and they peppered my jeep over there and took it down, because I went with my veteran flank. So my veteran unit moved into the crater over there. There's a German unit in that building. I moved the Rangers up. Rangers lead the way, and my heavy machine gun team came out. The last dice of the bag came up in support here. So I've got these 3 units in support here. The unit that came out on the first turn, that moved up the road, that has moved a little further up towards the back of the house. So I've kind of, if you look from the top here, kind of got a little bit of a rear position on the Germans. That's Bennett's commander model over there. And then this is my infantry lined up against the hedges here with the commander and the sniper. And my artillery observer in the field over there. Alright Bennett, what can you tell us about your first turn?
Well, the way it was going, I was kind of fearing that Jason was going to refuse flank me and just bring everything on this side, because I brought out a couple of units behind the train, so I was thinking just to sort of cover all angles, and nothing was really coming over this side to start with, so I was kind of reluctant to bring any more units this side, just to be cautious. But obviously, luckily, Jason has brought some stuff in behind me. Just put me at a difficult situation because I've got 2 fronts to fight on now, which the Germans don't like. And also I've got a couple of squads that are sort of the sniper team and this other veteran squad of Fallschirmjäger sort of out in the open at the minute, which is not particularly good, but they've only really got the Rangers at their face at the moment. But
what we're also doing is, this is the end of turn 2, so from turn 3 onwards we're going to roll a dice. On a 4+, it becomes dawn and no longer night fighting. So I'm hoping that is the case for the next round. And also, I'm hoping that I get the first dice so I can pepper these units out in the open. Especially that sniper team, I really want to do it. The way the victory points for this, by the way, is Bennett's got 1 victory point now because he's killed the Jeep. So that gets removed from the bag. You get 1 victory point for each unit you kill. And that's pretty much it. If you win by more than 2 victory points, it's a victory. So, you ready for the next turn?
yeah, ready, let's go.
Okay, so this is the end of round 3. And what happened? So the Americans are pushing up. We had a bit of a little argy-bargy on this side of the battlefield first. First few dice came up. Bennett had that infantry unit there come up, and he sat deliberating whether or not to move them forward and fire, because it's still night fight in effect, as we didn't roll the 4+, or just stand there and fire. Because obviously if he moves closer, he gets into closer range, so it's more likely to hit. But he decided to stand and fire, and he put... Who did you fire on? I can't remember now.
I fired on them and I didn't hit with that squad, did I? It was a
Oh
sniper
yes,
unit.
because that's right, because of the night fighting, yeah. Then in my turns, I tried to fire the HMG into the building, but they weren't sure if anyone was in there. So the Rangers decided to fire on the building. I put a pin mark on them, and then there I was decided. Actually, I was Bennett got a dice first, and he tried to activate the unit in the building, and they failed, so they went down. And then I decided, should I assault or fire? So I went for the chicken shit option and fired, and I put another pin mark on them. So they got 3 there. I also moved my infantry squad. They were Xavier, advanced them up to there, and they fired on the building as well, and did nothing, I think. And then Bennett moved up this infantry squad over here, killed 4 of the infantry moving up here, which was quite bad. And he also put a wound marker, pin mark on this unit from the sniper. But what was interesting, he also moved his officer squad around the corner there, and I was really happy about that, because this flower you see on top of the train, that's my artillery barrage. Put the fire order for my artillery observer on there, so you've got quite a lot of stuff clustered around this caboose at the back here. So I'm hoping that artillery comes down and wins me the game. For the rest of the turn, it was pretty much just maneuvers. My infantry moved up, my officer ran over to this side, and my sniper team moved up there, took a shot on them. Yeah, and that was it. So that's what the situation looks at the end of turn 3. Oh yeah, and Bennett moved that infantry squad through the train to this side, as he's decided to do the refuse flank on me. But I'm pushing up hard on him. So Bennett, what do you think?
I'm backing myself about that artillery. I don't think there's a lot I can do about it, except try and maybe move out and cause some damage while I can, but I think it's going to come down, it's going to cause a lot of pain. But if it's still night fighting, then you're going to get that -1.
It's right, yeah.
Which could mean that artillery is going to go right near that HMG.
I'm not looking forward to that. Whenever I play Bennett, he always has the most jammiest luck against me. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, we'll come back to you at the end of turn 4. Alright, so this is the end of round 4. Was round 4, wasn't it? Yeah. My artillery strike didn't come down. So annoying. But I did roll 3, so I moved it on a bit. And then I spent most of the turn sort of kind of a delaying tactic as Bennett was pushing hard on me. So he moved the squad up, fired on them. Luckily for me, I went down. They only took 1 wound and obviously another pin marker. That squad over there stood tall and fired on them. I went down and still lost 3 guys. Actually, reminds me, I need to take a morale test for them because they lost 50% casualties. These guys got fired on by that infantry squad down there. So I went down again. I didn't lose anything, but I did take a pin marker. And in return, my guy in the HMG fired on there and killed 1 guy and put a pin marker on them in the building. And in Bennett's turn, he actually chose fire order and fired on them, putting another pin marker on, even with the -3 from all the pin markers. My return on this flank, sniper put a pin marker on them. And I know we got another pin marker from somewhere. Oh yes, my LT. He moved up into the ruins here, trying to come around this flank, and he actually put a pin marker on them as well. So that's the state of the game in round 4. Those guys moved up, and that's what it looks like. So it's also, by the way, it's daytime now, so we are no longer in the night. So it's morning. The morning has come up. We've now clearly see each other, and the fighting has begun in earnest. At the moment, Bennett's still leading 1-0. And we're going to go into round 5. What do you think, Bennett? How's the state of the game looking for you?
I think it all comes down to this artillery, really. If that comes down, it could decimate me. If it stays up for another turn, I can maybe get away from it, or...
Yeah, he spent a bit of his turn trying to move away, but it's going to be a minimum of 7 inches if it does come down. So I'm hoping I can get that infantry squad, the sniper maybe, the unit in the building, maybe his officer team, which has moved away a bit over there. Okay, we'll let you know if it came down in a minute. Alright, so this is the end of round 5. This was a very, very interesting turn. The artillery came down, and that squad that was there is actually 1 guy left, and he's hiding. Point down to there, Bennett.
He's just hiding right behind that crate.
Right, so he got pulverized. Like 9 guys died. He's on his own, but he only got 2 pin markers, which he passed his morale test on his turn, and then ran over there. That unit down there took 3 pin markers. This unit took 3 pin markers in the building. The officer took, was it 2?
3 pin markers as well.
This unit took 3 pin markers, or 4 maybe even.
3 there.
And the sniper team took a pin marker. So I think that was quite devastating. Nothing obviously affected me. Then the first dice that came out was mine, was it?
Yes, there was quite a few of yours.
Yeah.
You piled on the pin markers a few
So, oh yes, I remember. I advanced them up and fired onto the officer unit, hoping to get my first victory point by taking him out. I put another pin marker on him, but not enough to kill them. They went. Did they go down? They went down. And then I put a couple more pin markers on this unit with my sniper team and my officer team. And then this unit advanced up to here and took out the sniper team, getting me my first victory point. But before that, Bennett fired on my HMG team, which made my bum sweat, as all he had to do was wound and he would have killed the whole unit and giving him another victory point. And then basically the turn went for, he tried to fire them on them. They went down because they got a lot of pin markers. This unit went down during the fighting.
Pretty much everything I had went down.
Yeah.
Just to, either to stop casualties or because it was just too many pins on them.
So it's looking quite grim, I must say, for Bennett at the moment. He's got a lot of pin markers on this unit. This unit in the building's got 6 pin markers on them. So only 4 more to take them out.
This one he's got 6 as well. So.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
So that's the end of our turn 5. So we're going to turn 6 now. Let's run through this turn quickly because we've got a couple of things going on tonight. All right. So I believe this is the end of turn 6. Well, I might be wrong. That turn went quite fast as most of our units were, well, most of Bennett's units were pinned up. But there's a miraculous thing that we'll go to in a minute. First of all, that unit over there in the building, or on the outskirts of the building, got pinned to hell. So they are gone and got me my order dice, or victory point. So I pinned them with them. Just about everyone you could see around them, all fired on them to get them down to 10 pin markers, and they were gone. But Bennett did the unbelievable. The unit in this building, well, first of all, my veteran squad that was there moved around the corner and blew away his command squad. So keep in mind, he doesn't even get the +1 morale from his commander nearby, because the commander is dead, which put me on to my 3rd victory point. So the unit in there was 6 pin markers needing a 4 or less, charged out of the building, no problem, and massacred my veteran squad.
What is it you said earlier in the video? The one that was so jammy against
Yeah,
you?
jeez.
Happened again.
He needed 4 or less, he rolled a 4 and then sprinted out there. Obviously they lose all their pin markers for doing that, and we just he killed 3, I killed 2, and my squad died. So that puts us at 3-all at the end of turn 6. So now we're going to roll for another turn. So you want to do the honors, Bennett?
Yeah,
On
what was
a
it?
4, 5 or 6 we go to turn 7. We go to turn 7. But do you want to do turn 7 or should we call it there?
We can do it quickly. I've only got 3 units, so.
Alright, fine. Let's do that quickly. So that's the state of the battlefield. I'm hunting down his last fleeing units, except for that stupid unit over there. So we'll come back in turn 7. Okay, so we finished round 7 or 6, no 7,
7.
and freaking Bennett with his kamikaze Germans sprinted across here against the HMG and massacred in combat. I did kill 1 with my stand and shoot sort of reaction, but on my turn, everything else that I could moved into these areas, fired on them, and I caused 3 casualties and 2 or 3 more pin markers. But the jammy get past these morale saves, so they stayed in there. But nonetheless, he's got 4 victory points, I've got 3. You need to win by 2 to make it a victory, so it's a draw. Nothing else mattered. I mean, my kamikaze artillery observer ran across there and fired on them, and he's got 1 guy from that unit that got hit by the mortar, so hiding behind the lavatory over there. So that's it. What did you think?
Yeah, it was really good. I like the scenario. It was quite interesting, obviously, not knowing when the train was going to arrive, and obviously, you know, not knowing where your guys are going to come from. It was very interesting. Obviously,
Yeah.
the artillery just, you know, it just decimated me.
What swung the game, yeah.
Swung the game up massively, but I think you were hard pressed.
Well, I kind of bought my
Yeah.
bided my time in turn 3 or 4, where you were pushing pressure on me, and I just went down with all my units in this area, just waiting for that artillery or barrage to come in,
That's it,
so I could put some hurt on you and then push to my advantage, which kind of worked in my favor. But this unit was unbelievable. If it didn't actually jump out of that building, I would have had 2 more. I would have won. I would have won 3.
You would have won.
Oh no, it would have been 3-2.
Yeah, but you probably wouldn't have been able to hunt down this guy, I reckon.
That's true, but I might have killed them. I might have outpinned them if they didn't matter, because they only had 4 more pins to go.
That's it, yeah, you could have easily just put the pins on them rather than anyone else.
So they basically grabbed you a draw from defeat there.
Yeah, definitely.
On the flip side, I thought that scenario worked pretty well. I mean, it's a little modification of the glider scenario like you saw in the beginning, but it worked really well. It was really cool. I loved the thematic element of the Germans pouring out of the train, you know, firing on both fronts, and then the Americans pushing up. And I also like the fact that the train moved on so early. 1 unit came onto the table, and then the train pulled into the...
Completely threw you off a bit in the first turn, didn't it, I suppose?
Which meant like it was kind of like the Americans were taking their time getting to their objective, and the Germans caught them on the hop. So that was really cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this scenario. I think we really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to try and play this with one of my other friends as well, who unfortunately... Bennett is like the only German player I know, and Tony.
Yeah.
Although I do have Molo here with his Japanese. You want to try the scenario?
I could do.
Okay, well, thanks for watching. We'll be back with some more battle reports soon, but we're going to play some board games now. See you guys later. Say bye, Bennett.
Yeah.